everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would talk about the truth about working at Hollister, like the reality of it all, because I feel like when we were all like in, I don't know, like 10 years old, we thought Hollister was like the coolest thing ever. Well, at least I did, and like the people in my like school did. Like it was like the coolest thing, like oh my god, Hollister, like oh my god, like I got a Hollister hoodie, like the brand is like right on the chest, you know, everyone knows I'm wearing it, and like I used to think I was the coolest person ever. I remember I got this like, I think it was like a turquoise light blue Hollister hoodie. It's like Hollister right on the front. I used to wear that with black leggings and black Converse every single day when I was 10 or 11. Every single day, no doubt, would live in this Hollister hoodie because I thought it was like the coolest thing in the whole entire world. I was like, wow, this is gonna be so cool. I'm gonna work for a brand that little me used to be absolutely obsessed with. But then the reality is it's not as cool as you think, and it's actually a really shit job to have. So yeah, I thought I would just make a video on the realities, and if you are looking to get a job at Hollister, I guess this is like my personal experience. It might be different in every other, you know, shop, but this is my personal experience working at Hollister, and I'm basically just going to talk about like the pay, the hours you get, like the management, just get into it. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about the interview. So I had my interview back in December. I got a call and they're like, hey, we'd like to give you an interview, it's going to be a group interview, blah blah blah, and I was like, okay, cool. I can't remember what time it was, but it was sometime after college, and it was the most unprofessional interview I've ever experienced in my whole entire life. Considering this was for a job, it was a complete mess, basically. I got to the shop and there were like a few other people. I think there was 6 of us all together, and we were waiting around for ages. I remember it was like ages after the scheduled time, and then we finally got called in for the interview, and they were like, right, we're gonna do it in the back, and I was like, yeah, okay, cool. I thought we were all gonna like sit around a table or whatever, and you know, I'd never done a group interview before, but like you expect to at least sit down at a table. No, you know, like a room, you know, like, how do I explain this? You know when there's like a door and you go through the door and there's like a tiny room that leads to another room, but it's not really like a room, it's like the door to the door, you know, like it's not an established room, it's just the door to the door room. I hope you know what I mean by that, but basically it was a tiny room, not meant to fit 7 people in it, and she was like, yeah, I'm really sorry about this, but can you sit on the floor? So 6 of us sat on the floor in this tiny box room that's not even a proper room, like an entryway to the next room, you know what I mean? We sat on the floor, and let me tell you, there was a guy in there who was like 6 foot something. Like, how's that going to work? Oh, we had all of our bags, and then there was her. She sat on like a little step ladder thing, whilst we all cramped on the floor. I remember we couldn't properly fit in there. Like, I was sat like with my knees up to my chest because like I had no room. Bear in mind, I'm 5'2". I'm a tiny human being. I don't take up much room at all. But like, we just did not fit in this room. It was so uncomfortable, and I remember being just like, you know when you get like pins and needles in your legs, but like I couldn't move to like sort it out. Then she basically just asked us a bunch of questions like, tell me about yourself, and we would go around the room. What would you do if a customer asks about jeans or something? And then basically everyone said the same thing, and then they were like, tell us one interesting fact about you. And then I was like, oh my god, I have no idea what to say. And then this girl was like, yeah, I play netball. So I was like, oh, okay. And so I was like, I play tennis, I played for my county and all this shit. Like, I played for my county when I was about 5 or 6 years old. But, you know, they didn't need to know that. One of the questions was like, sell me your outfit. I was wearing a grey top, black leggings, docks, and a coat. Like, it was the most basic outfit ever. I remember just being like, this top is like knit, but it's like short sleeves, so it like keeps you warm, but still looks cool. Black leggings, they're like fluffy on the inside, you know, like it's December, you know, keeps me warm. Got Doc Martens, you know, classic shoes, perfect for winter. This coat has got fluffy, basically everything I wore was like really fluffy, and it's like this coat has like got fluff on the inside, it's fab. And I think I was wearing purple socks, and I was like, you know, I put purple socks on like a pop of colour. I don't know, like, it was the most like boring outfit ever. Like, I didn't know how to sell it. It was so awkward the whole time. It was so awkward and weird. I got a call like an hour later and they were like, hi, we'd like to offer you the position of stock, what was it, stock associate. I think I applied for brand rep, but like I didn't know there was a difference. Like, either way, I was like, hell yeah, give me this job, girl. So I was like, oh my god, yes, thank you so much. So I got the job and I was like, hell yeah, I was so excited. You know, gonna be working for Hollister, like it's gonna be such a good time. Retail, like I love clothes, like what could go wrong, you know? And then, well, it wasn't great. Okay, so then I went in for the induction. Basically just talked you through, like, you know, the little computers, like cash register computer things. They basically just like saying fill in all these forms, put in your bank details, here's a associate card, oh yeah, and then they scanned your passport and your national insurance number, and then was that it? That was literally it. Yeah, you can wear whatever you want. It doesn't have to be Hollister, but obviously you can't wear any branded stuff. They didn't actually teach you anything. They were just like, yeah, fill in all these forms, scan your passport, okay, see you on your first shift. I remember the person who did the induction, like she had like a weird vibe. Like she was nice enough, but she had this like, and I just like, something was off. I was like, I don't think I like you. You know what I mean? Like someone like can seem so nice, but then they also have this like bitch vibe. That was like the whole management team. They had this like bitch vibe, but I was like, girl, you're fake. I arrived on my first shift doing stock. You like scan your card in, you type in your little password and all that jazz, and then you got to going. Basically you go and get the deliveries and they have like a P on them. Well, mine did. They have like your initial of your name, Penny, had a P on them, and they also had times on them. So it's like, you have to finish this box in 18 minutes. You have to finish this box in 43 minutes. And I was like, bitch, why are these timed? To scan the priority shipping items, and the priority shipping items you would take to the shop floor after you tagged them. So, you know, like the pins and the tags, like the security tags that are impossible to get off. Yeah, I was the person who put all of them on, and it was so boring. And then the ones that aren't on the shop floor, you would put back in the bays. Now, girl, the bays were the most annoying thing in the whole entire world. It would basically be like rows and rows and rows of like shelves of clothes. They were all labelled. So 331 was guys jeans. So you would go to the bay that said 331 guys jeans, and then the next code it would be like 1974, and then you'd have to find the bay which was 331 to 1974 to like 2178, like it was like, you know, a group. And then the next number would be the style of the jean, I think. I can't remember. So it would be like 279, and you'd have to go to the bay, find the 279? Find 279 or 278 and 280, and then 279 would like be in between that. But then you'd have one more number, which would be like, I don't know, let's say 100. 100 was white. So then you'd have your 279s, but then you'd have to put it in order of colour. So 100 would normally be first because that was white. So it would be like 100, and then it would like go up. So then black would normally be like 900. So you'd have to put it in, find a section, put it in the like style order, and then put it in colour order. But then like large would have to be at the bottom of the pile, extra small to the top. But then some clothes would have different piles for different sizes. It was so confusing, and like I'm not good at maths or numbers, so I was like, what the fuck is going on? But once you knew it, but like it was interesting to say the least. You'd have to do all of that, but be timed. But then also taking the clothes to the shop floor, they don't tell you where anything is. You know, you have to find it yourself. So that was difficult, because I didn't know where anything was. So I'd walk around the shop with these like piles of clothes in my arms, just like looking around with, where does this go? Because they didn't tell you. They were just like, yeah, take it to the shop floor. And then some clothes hung on hangers, some clothes didn't. I didn't know which ones would hang or not. They don't tell you. So I would walk out with like a pile of t-shirts, find out they all hang up, go back to the back, put them on hangers, go back and hang them all up. Like, it was insane, because I was never told where anything is. If it hangs, you just had to work it out. All's while being time. Along with the managers not being very nice people, it was a task to say the least. It was ridiculous. Most of the time I would walk out and the brand reps would be there and they'd be like, hey, you alright? I'd be like, where does this go? And they would tell me. Sometimes I'd go to the managers and they'd be like, I'd be like, where does this go? And they'd be like, oh, it goes here. Like, they were always just like, bitch, you should know. Girl, you never told me. But I feel like once you get like, after a few shifts, obviously you get used to it, but then they would change around the shop. So then it'd be in a different place. It was just a constant cycle of, I don't know where anything is and I'm really stressed because I'm timed and I don't know what I'm doing. It was a mess. The shop floor had music playing, so you would walk out and you'd be like, woo! Ew, that was gross. But the stockroom didn't have music. So I would be working in the back, tagging stuff, you know, and all that jazz in silence because there was no music in the stockroom, which I thought was so unfair. When I didn't have a delivery, I would have my little, you know, like Honeywell thing. They were called Honeywells. They were like the little like device, and you would go on, I think it was USRs. Basically, you would have to go through the bays, find the item that it tells you, and then scan it, and then take it to the shop floor. And those shifts dragged so long. Oh my god. So like, you'd have to look through the bays, and then if they didn't have the exact item, you'd have to find it in another size. But then if you didn't have that size, then you'd say, no, we don't have this item. So basically, wandering around the stockroom, looking for these specific items, and then you take them to the shop floor, and then like that was it. You would do that for like 4 hours, but then you'd run out of priority shipping, and then you're like, well, what do I do now? It was so boring. Like I appreciated it because it was a job and like it wasn't difficult to do, but it was so boring. Oh yeah, it was also so hot in that stockroom. Jesus Christ. I would rock up in like a long sleeve top because it would be cold outside because it was like December, January, and then you'd be in the stockroom like, why did I do this to myself? Okay, so this is like a bit more of like my personal experience. One time I went in and it was a 5-hour shift, and they were like, okay, here's a list of codes, so like the codes I was talking about before, you know, the 4-number codes. You know, like the knicker drawer in Hollister, it's a complete mess. You know, you have like the display on the top, and then you have drawers and drawers and drawers just of like underwear. Yeah, you know, I hope you, yeah. I had to go through that, the whole of it, and find the number codes that match the underwear, and if it was on the list, put a tag, like a little red sticker on the underwear, because we were having I think it was like a Christmas sale, I can't remember. The list they gave you with the numbers on wasn't in chronological order, it was just random. It was completely random. So I spent so long finding these numbers, tagging them, and then I would tick them if like, oh, it was just the worst 5 hours of my life. And I was sat there, took all the knickers out, sprawled across the floor, sat there on the sales floor going through underwear for 5 hours straight. It was insane. Another thing is, one time it was like the shop closed at 8, I would normally stay till 9, you know, do some last minute stuff. One time the manager was like, hey, can you tidy the, like empty the bins behind the checkout desk, you know, can you do, I think it's like bags, tags and something else. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? Because obviously I'd never done it before. So I was like, what does that mean? And she was like, basically refill the bags, take all the tags back to the back and put them in the bin where all the other tags are. And I was like, okay. So so I emptied the bin, and holy shit, it was just full of like Starbucks. It was full, it had a Starbucks drink in there that wasn't finished, so it spilled all over my hand. It was disgusting. So basically she made me do a job that she was meant to do, but she couldn't be asked doing it, so she made me do it. This whole bags, tags thing, I had no idea what that meant. Luckily she showed me how to do the tags, so I took the tags, took them back. But then I was like, what do you mean by do the bags? And she was like, refill the bags. And I was like, yeah, but what do you mean? And like, she made me look like really stupid because like she was like, just do the bags. And I was like, bitch, what the fuck does that mean? She never told me what it meant, so I just said, yeah, I've done the bags. But like the thing is, I finished at 9, my train came at 7 minutes past 9, and the train station is like, I'd say like a 5-minute walk away. So I was like, oh my god, like it got to 9 o'clock and or like 2 minutes to 9, I was like, hey, like I'm finished, and she was like, have you done the bags? And I was like, yeah, I think so. And then she went and looked, and she was like, you haven't done the bags? And I was like, yeah, because I don't know what the fuck you mean. And she never told me about it, so I just moved on, I just did something else, until she said to the other people who were working, hey, it's time to go, and I was like, oh my god. But then I missed my train, so I had to wait another half an hour for my train. This is probably what you've been waiting for, you probably skipped through the video for this. The hours, the pay, and all that shit. It was £6.25 an hour, which is, I think that's like minimum wage for an 18-year-old, 18 and over, I think, or it's like just over minimum wage. I don't know. I thought £6 was okay. Like, it was fine. You know, I wasn't bothered about that. I thought, like, yeah, that's alright, you know, it'll do me fine. But then you get to the hours you get. This is when it's like, this is why I don't recommend working here. It's a 0-hour contract, so you can get any hours a week. Like, you don't know how many hours you're gonna get a week. So I started off with like 2 or 3 shifts a week. So I was like, okay, this is good. So my first paycheck, it was alright. I was like, okay, this is fine. You know, I can get this every month. I can live off this every month. It's fine. But then it slowly got less and less. So then I would have 1 shift a week and it would be 4 hours. Then it got even worse. So then it would go down to 1 shift a week, 3 hours. That's like £18. But then it would get even worse and it would go down to nothing. So some weeks I would not work at all. Sometimes it would be 2 weeks I wouldn't work. And then it would be like 1 shift, 3 hours. And then the next week it would be nothing. And then it would be like 1 shift, 4 hours. The next week, nothing. The next week, nothing. It was getting so bad. I remember 1 month it was, I think it was like £40. And I was like, dude, I have a car, you know, to fuel. And the college I go to, it's like a 15-minute drive. Altogether, half an hour drive a day. £40? That's not good enough. This isn't a reliable job. This is insane. What am I meant to do with that? Sometimes, you know, you can get shifts, but most of the time the shifts available I couldn't do because I would be in college. I think they start you off with like, you know, like 2 or 3 shifts a week, so it's like, oh, okay, like this is fine. But then once they get comfortable, or like you feel like you're getting comfortable, it's like, oh yeah, you're not working this week, you know, oh yeah, here's 1 shift that's only 3 hours long. Like, that's unacceptable. That's actually ridiculous. And it got that bad that I had to start asking my parents, hi, can I have some petrol for my car, please? And let me tell you, that is the worst thing to ask in the whole entire world. I felt so bad every time I had to ask for money for my car. Yeah, having a job, yet still having to ask your parents for money is it's just horrible. I hate it. I hated it so much. It was terrible. Okay, so in conclusion, it was boring. There was no music in the back where I worked. They don't tell you anything, you just have to work it out yourself. The managers all had a bitchy attitude and they just would like roll your eyes at you when you asked how to do something. They would make you do jobs that they didn't want to do, so like the shitty jobs. The pay is okay, I guess. Like, the pay is fine, but the hours are absolutely disgusting and I don't recommend it whatsoever. Like, the job I'm in now, which I have contracted hours, every person I've told, you know, when they've asked, like, oh, so where did you work before? And I said Hollister and I had 0 hours. And they'd be like, what the fuck? Like, every single person I've told, they were like, that's not okay. So, clearly, it's not just me, it's a legit thing. They hire so many people. Like, the Facebook group had like 80 members in, and we were like, they're not a big store in the shopping centre, they're not a big shop, but they had like 88 staff members. That's insane. So I think you got no shifts because there were too many staff. And I think the 0 hour contract was an excuse to have this many staff. It doesn't make sense. I think it's a job to have on, like, as an extra job, you know what I mean? Like, have a job, but then if you want extra money, or like, you know, you want to save up for something, I'd say work there for like extra money, because it's not a reliable job to have as like a job. It's like a job to have on the side of another job, because it's just not reliable whatsoever, and they treat you like shit and they take advantage of you. It's just, no. You know when you go somewhere and it just has like a bad vibe? That's what it was. I like, every time I worked there, I like didn't look forward to going to work because I was like, it has a bad vibe. Like, all the people here are so... The job I'm in now, everyone is so lovely. It just like blows my mind. Like, oh, I was working there for so long. Yeah, I could have been working here, and everyone's so nice. It doesn't make sense. I hope this helped anyone who's like looking into working at Hollister, or if you do work at Hollister and you disagree with what I've said. This is just from my personal experience. I'm sure it's not like that in every other Hollister, but if it is, then yikes. You do get a 50% off discount for 6 items a month. I never used it because the money I got paid, it wasn't enough to even buy something from Hollister for 50% off, because I had to pay for other things. You know, like, you're like, have this 50% off, but like, we're not going to pay you enough so you can actually use it, you know? Like, it was really stupid. Comment down below like any more questions you have if you're looking to work there, and subscribe if you want. I don't normally make videos like this, but you know, I just wanted to make this video to help someone else, and I will see you soon with a hopefully more upbeat and lively and fun and nice video. I don't know. Okay, bye!